Welcome to Two Giant Goofballs, a New York Giants podcast. Are you a goofball that loves Giants football? If so, sit back and relax as we talk about the team that both excites and frustrates us so much. And now, here are your goofball hosts, Drew and Rob.
Welcome, fellow goofballs, to Two Giant Goofballs, New York Giants podcast. I am Drew, joined as always by...
And me, I'm Rob. And let's get the show on the road, even though we're stationary today.
There we go. I'm going to correct you every time you say let's get the show on the road. Eventually, we'll do a mobile show, and it'd be funny. You're like, look, we're on the road. It'd be fun.
Ooh, there the goofballs are. Ooh,
oh, gosh.
Goofballs go.
Anyway. We got a lot of news to go over with you guys here today, giving some news on quarterbacks, rumors, suggestions and predictions for next year. We got a mock draft done, a full mock draft done by PFN as well. So it's not even ours this time.
Ooh.
So that means I can critique it even more. And of course, we got, like I said, all the latest and greatest here. And a lot of it, let's be honest, guys, there's still this Matt Stafford talk will not go away. So we're going to keep on talking about that as long as actual valid news and opinions come out of it. We'll say that. So let's get started with, they say rip the Band-Aid off. I feel like this is definitely a rip the Band-Aid kind of situation. The Giants are literally predicted to be an underdog for each game in 2025. That's kind of really sad to hear. I will say this. This is based on a simulation that PFN did. They literally simulated the season 1,000 times. And based on that, they didn't come up with a single game that the Giants were predicted to be the winner of. Now, I will also say this. How do they do this simulation? I didn't see that. There was no notice I saw of that. I wonder if they just did Madden season 1,000 times. They call it a day. Like, I don't know. I will also say it's a little crazy to do this before the draft, free agency, and all that kind of stuff. They're like, yeah. I don't even know who our quarterback's going to be. How are you going to predict what team's going to win what game? You don't even know who's going to be behind center.
I was about to say, are they doing with our current roster where there's just DeVito?
Tommy DeVito, yeah.
And he gets hurt and we have no one behind center?
No Slayton, no Ojolari. Like, oh my gosh. Anyway. Not a single one. There's only two teams that we actually had above a 40% chance of beating, and that was a 45.1% chance of beating the Saints and a 43.8% chance of beating the Patriots. The worst is we have just a 7.7% chance of beating the Lions in Detroit. That's kind of not good there.
Yeah.
Even the Eagles, who again won the Super Bowl, we hate them, but let's call it what it is. They are, until otherwise, proven, the best team in football right now. 18.8% chance of beating them at home and 11.9% on the road. I mean, listen, guys, I know everybody likes to talk about how bad this schedule is going to be for us. I got to say, I'm looking at the schedule, and I don't think it's nearly as bad as people think, guys. I really don't. The Raiders we got here. This is just the list here. The Raiders played horrible last year. The Niners did not play as good as people expected last year. The Cowboys expected to be really bad. The Lions, really good. Chargers, really good. You got the Saints, again, the best winning percentage potential we have all year long here. The Packers, again, very good team. Are they unbeatable? No. Are they a very good team that should beat us? 100%. Commanders kind of fall in that same category. And then you got the Eagles, the Chiefs, the Commanders again. The Patriots, we could beat the Patriots. There's no way that's a give up game. Eagles again. Bears, we definitely could beat the Bears. The Broncos, who knows what the hell Broncos are going to show up next year. And then the Cowboys again. And obviously, again, me analyzing this game by game and doing the same thing that I'm complaining they're doing here. But I don't think this schedule is as nearly as tough as people are making it out to be. And that's not to say that we're going to win a lot of games. Let's be honest. I have been so sour at this point. I'm like a Sour Patch Kid on crack. It's like ridiculous. But, to sit there and say we're not favored in a single game. And people I hear all the time, oh, this is the roughest schedule. This is the hardest schedule known to man. Guess what, guys? When you're in the NFC East, you have a similar schedule. If you're the Eagles, the Cowboys, or the Commanders. I hate when it's the roughest schedule. We have no clue how rough the schedule is till the end of next year. That's when we'll know. And even then, it'll still be a similar schedule to the people in our division. There's a couple of games that'll be different. Otherwise, it'll be very similar. So, yeah, I'm not buying into that BS. So we'll see what happens. And again, obviously, I don't think we're going to be great next year, but I think I can safely guarantee we'll win at least one game.
I'm going to say,
there's a good chance at that. That's for sure. Nothing's a guarantee, but it's a good chance. Let's get one more bit of bad news out of the way here because we're trying to get it all out of the way quickly if we can. ESPN's Matt Miller says that he has 0 quarterbacks with a first round grade. 0. That is a round number less than 1. That is 3 less than our current pick in the NFL draft. We need a quarterback. That is not good. He said 1 year after seeing 6 quarterbacks drafted in the first round, the 2025 class has 0 passers with the true first round grade. Colorado's Shedeur Sanders and Miami's Cam Ward would have both been ranked behind Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, Drake May, and even J.J. McCarthy in 2024. Both Sanders and Ward are talented and have the potential to rise in the pre-draft process, but I wouldn't be comfortable calling them first-round prospects based on this past season's tape. That doesn't mean they won't be drafted in the first round, though. In fact, it's a safe bet that they both get drafted in the top 5 selections. Quarterbacks always go early. We got a lot to call BS on here, right? I mean, let's see. They're ranked, they would have been ranked behind Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, Drake May, even J.J. McCarthy in 2024. Well, yeah, that's why they didn't come out in 2024. I mean, I'm curious to see what what he says here, because if he's asked about that kind of scenario, because he didn't word it as if they'd be ranked if they were all out in this versions of Sanders and Ward in the last year's draft. He just said in 2024. Well, yeah, I mean, that's why Ward went to Miami, because he was going to be like a 4th round draft pick. Sanders didn't come out because he would have been like a 2nd round draft pick. I think both those guys are 1st round talents. Let me be very clear on that. And the fact that anyone thinks otherwise, to me, is a bit crazy. Now, am I going to sit there and say that it's their top 10, top 5 picks? No, they're going to be. They're not.
Without doubt.
I think in a regular draft, they're sitting there probably a mid-first round selection kind of quarterback. And, you look at what they just said a minute ago. You notice they didn't say ahead of Penix. They didn't say ahead of Nix, who both went in what round?
The first round.
Oh, the first round, you say. Ooh.
I was about to say, I was about to point that out. They didn't call out everyone that went in the first round that they would have went ahead of. Yeah. Or would they went number 1 overall, 2nd overall? No. But that's not saying that first round talent.
So J.J. McCarthy went, 7th? Was it? Because he went right after us?
Way too early.
No, he went actually 10th. He went 10th. That's right. Because Penix went before him. Anyway, either way, he went like right in that 10 spot there. So if you're saying that's an accurate representation of his talent, then you're looking at a guy who, again, would be right after that. You have him as a mid-first round pick. Because you're saying he's above Nix, you're saying he's above Penix, who actually went number 8th overall, if I remember correctly, to the Falcons. I know it's the Falcons. I can't remember number 8. I think it was 8. So, yeah, you just basically spun words around to say things for shock value, I feel like, when you say stuff like that.
A little bit, because it's at the same time, it's he didn't lie. He didn't say anything.
I don't have first round grades of them. Here's there are 6 people, and these 4 are ahead of him. Well, the other 2 also went first round. So what you're saying by default is, if the other 2 aren't ahead of him, that these 2 would have gone. And I'll call BS on Ward. Ward would not have gone first round last year. Shedeur Sanders, I would say, would have gone probably second round, but he very well could have gone first round because everybody said that about Bo Nix going into this.
They did. I was going to say that people also went a little QB heavy when drafting.
No.
So
no. Those guys, I'm telling you, the GMs last year were acting like they were at the Golden Corral and they hadn't eaten in a week. Like it wasn't even good food and they were going for it.
Pretty much.
Oh my god.
Golden Corral.
It was crazy, but like I said, I think that he's right. They're going to go top 5 probably. I mean, maybe one of them drops to 6 or 7. I doubt it, but it's possible. But I think there's a lot of hate in this. Really, I do the way he wrote this because I do think Sanders and Ward are top, like I said, first round talent. It's just they're probably guys that should go in a normal draft in the middle of the first round, and nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. We've talked about it before numerous times how many great quarterbacks have come out of the middle of the first round. The top 5 picks don't tend to pan out. That's just life because partially is where they go. So yeah, I'll take it. Like I said, if the Giants draft one of them, I have no qualms about it whatsoever. I will not be upset. I will sit there and just say point blank, they made what they thought was the right decision and move on. Because A, I can't change it. And B, we're all screaming for a quarterback. So what, I'm going to blast them when we take a quarterback? We need a quarterback.
Yeah. What are we supposed to wait till the second round because you don't think the first round grade?
Oh, well, wait till 2027 when this guy comes out. Blah blah blah. That's what I keep hearing. Like, let's wait till 2030 for Archie Manning's younger brother. Like, I stop, guys. Like,
let's watch shitty football for the next half of the decade because you're going to get a guy.
Seriously,
draft a guy that you think could be the dude, and if he busts. We're still Archie Manning Jr. the third, or whatever, and 2030, we can draft him then.
Cathedrals in Europe get built faster than the Giants roster. Just saying, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Some of them took 600 years. So yeah, it's bad. So speaking of roster building, let's break down into what PFN mocked for the New York Giants. Because listen, I love it when another content creator or website does it because it's interesting to see where they align with what we're saying. We pretty much have had number 1 pick quarterback. Basically, I think every single mock draft, if I remember correctly. We sprinkled in some defenders, defensive linemen, edge rushers, a power back of some kind, somebody for the offensive line, just because I think you should draft at least one offensive lineman every year. Looking at you, Joe Shane, you skipped it last year, and try to get a corner somewhere, that kind of stuff. So let's see if they're in line with us here. So, first off, pick 3, the big one, the big cheese, the big honcho, Travis Hunter, cornerback / wide receiver / athlete. I don't know what you're going to call him. Like, that's like a college football thing. I know. Like, when you draft them out of high school, they're athletes. But that's what I feel like this kid is basically being drafted like. But PFN says the New York Giants are one of a couple of landing spots where Travis Hunter may be able to play both ways. The Giants need playmakers on both sides of the ball, and Hunter would provide that option. He will most likely be a full-time defensive player and then see some offensive snaps in certain situations. The athleticism and versatility that Hunter offers are tantalizing. He is so good with the ball in his hands. It'll be tempting to play him as much as possible. Any team drafting him will need to be smart because playing 1,500 snaps is close to impossible in the modern NFL. As a rookie, Hunter could also be valuable special teams option, playing on defense and then having a couple of packages a game on offense. First off, I'm very proud of myself for not giggling like a little child for half the things they just said in that thing, but it is funny. But I think that overall, again, I get it. There's a lot of people I feel like people have this idea that like, oh, you draft Travis Hunter, you just solve 2 problems in one.
Yeah, what's he going to rest? On the regular, you take players out on a drive. Yeah. Well,
that's what they're saying. They're saying
bring him nonstop.
That's why they're saying bring him for passing situations. Don't have him as a full-time receiver. Like most people that I hear talking about him think full-time corner and a guy you can put in. Ironically enough, kind of like Deion Sanders in his Cowboy days. Obviously Deion was head coach, so it's kind of The irony is definitely not lost on most people, I think, but that's where they have met. And I don't know. To me, you find a spot that works, and then later on in his career, if you want to do that, you can't be having him splitting time between offensive, defensive meetings. You find your spot, you fine tune him, and then from there, once he's really good, then you can decide what you want to do. Which, by the way, as I mentioned Dion before, is exactly what Dion did. He didn't play offense in San Francisco or Atlanta. He played it in Dallas. And I think Baltimore as well a little bit too later on. This is his last spot. And I think also in Washington when he was a commander, or, the other name they had back then. But to me, it's like you're trying to develop him and you're doing him no services if he's an average corner and an average wide receiver, if he had the potential to be great at one of them. Yeah. So, again, I've said it before. I think people kind of look at him as the Ohtani of NFL, because now you got a guy that was a great pitcher and hitter at the same time. People just assume that, this is going to be the football version. It's a difference because there's a lot more meeting rooms and everything for guys who are, football players. When it comes to baseball, and I'm not trying to demean the sport whatsoever, guys. Like, it's a skill. It's difficult. I'm not trying to say if it was easy, I'd be playing it professionally myself right now, making millions of dollars, and not be with you all right now.
That salary.
But let's be honest when we sit there and say that if you're a hitter, your big thing is, especially if you're a DH and I'm playing defense, you're just spending a bunch of time in the cage, perfecting your swing, making sure you're doing the work like that, as you should. It's not like it is with all the drills, the motions, the movements, all that stuff you have on football, all the tape you have to watch in football. There's a lot more work into being a football player. No offense, but the greatest football player of all time was not living off of beer and hot dogs like Babe Ruth.
Yeah.
Just saying. Unless you want to go Barry Bonds, he was living off the cream and the clear right here. Anyway, like I said,
he definitely put a little extra sauce on his bagel, if you will, in the morning.
Like I said, that's what I would do personally. If you're going to draft Travis Hunter, you better like him as one of those positions, and you think he's going to be elite in one of those positions, and then you can put him in later on. If he's going to be an elite wide receiver in your eyes, make him a wide receiver. Then go ahead and give him the chance to go ahead and play some corner in diamond nickel packages as well once he perfects being a receiver. If you think he's going to be an excellent elite corner, then make him your corner. And then later on for a few years, give him a chance to go into some packages for offense. To me, you're going to ruin him if you try both, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Depends on who gets them, because there's going to be some coaching staffs that know how to work with it. There'll be some that won't. The problem is when you go top 5, usually it's the ones that won't.
There's a reason why you're getting a top 5 pick.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So next up, round 2, pick 34. Harold Fannin Jr., tight end at a Bowling Green. They say, this is PFN again, it says, New York Giants have never found a replacement for Evan Ingram, and this has sometimes affected their offensive play. Pause real quick on that. Have you seen how many drops we had last year? We definitely replaced Evan Ingram in multiple ways.
Especially just because Evan Ingram's playing a lot better than Jaxson.
The ghost of Evan Ingram is still all over MetLife Stadium. Don't you worry. Anyway, game on. They've had playmakers at all the other offensive positions in the past 3 years, but not at wide receiver. That's what it says here. Saying, I think they mean tight end, because this is a tight end we're drafting in this scenario. Yeah. Drafting Harold Fannin Jr. could fix that immediately. He's a dynamic, explosive tight end who plays with the power and versatility of a Deebo Samuel type weapon. Though he may not fit the traditional mold at his position, his rocked up frame, sudden burst, and elite contact balance make him a nightmare for defenders. Blocking is his weakness and will limit his utility in the position. Yeah. So, I don't know about y'all, but I am never a fan of drafting a tight end in the first couple rounds. It is such a crapshoot. It's not even funny. To me, when you draft, you need the first couple picks, the day 1, the day 2 picks, to be solid. You could take all the gambles you want in the day 3. I could not care less. Take your gambles. Take your big swings, because every so often you're going to hit a home run. And let's be honest, when you go ahead and get the guys in the 5th, 6th round and all, half those guys won't make it past a rookie deal. They don't even make it through their rookie deal, a lot of those guys. Some of those guys don't even make it out of camp the first year.
Sometimes, yeah. But
take your shots.
I'm going to typically agree with you, but not 100% of the time, because like if you find that dude, I mean, look at Brock Bowers. Just saying.
Yeah.
Dude's a stud. He's worth the first round pick for the Raiders.
For every Brock Bowers, for every single one of them, there's a Pitts.
I was going to say. But I mean,
and that's the thing. This is the problem. I don't mind taking a risk at quarterback, corner, edge, tackle, positions that are also not 100%, given kind of things, because nothing is in the draft. Those are premium positions. Tight end is not a premium position. There are not many teams in the NFL that are winning because of their tight end. And don't get me wrong, you can say the Ravens, you can say the Chiefs. There's a couple teams you can sit there and say that. I'm not saying nobody is. But that's not the way you're typically building a roster. And there's very few tight ends that are worthy of what they're doing. If you went back and drafted these guys all over again saying, that's a 2nd-round talent. That's a 1st-round talent.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what it is. The guys who succeeded, by the way, at those positions are usually 4th-round picks.
I was going to say 3rd and 4th round. It's usually typically where I would say, because like if you're taking a late 3rd round pick and you're taking a tight end, you think it's a dude, I 100% agree with that. Like you're also going to find some solid tight ends in early 5th round. So
yeah, not to mention, did I forget we have Theo Johnson here? Because they seem to have forgotten that. They're acting like we don't have a tight end. And don't get me wrong, Theo Johnson, I'm not saying is the second coming of Travis Kelce, but he had a decent rookie year. I can't sit there and say I'm giving up on him after one season when he got injured. Didn't start much off, but had a nice little stretch there before the injury where he was starting to kind of, feel his groove. He was kind of like Stella and got his groove back there. I'm just saying, I would run another year with Johnson. Now, if you want to say, okay, you know what? There's a big cap hit on Bellinger. I'm probably going to get another one to replace him. Then fine. Go ahead and do that. But you don't replace him in the 2nd round. Replace him 4th, 5th. So, like I said, I think that's a bit of a stretch for what I would do, especially for a team that has a whole bunch of holes. I understand that if you're like in a team where you're just picking BPA, the Giants are going to basically play BPA that fits a hole. You know what I'm saying? Like they're not going to go for anybody, but they're going to go for whoever's the best that happens to fill a need in a hole. So, round 3. Speaking of guys that definitely fill needs and holes here.
Yeah, ayo.
Pick 65. Jaxson Dart, quarterback out of Ole Miss. Now, PFN said, having missed out on the top 2 quarterbacks, the Giants finally get their signal caller in Jaxson Dart. Whether they also add a veteran to start in 2025 is yet to be seen, but Dart has developmental potential. He's a natural leader and playmaker, which is a great starting point. Dart elevates his team with pinpoint passes, sharp reads, and trust in his receivers. He excels at exploiting man coverage, finding matchups, and winning 50-50 plays. While his game has a few flaws, he sometimes locks into downfield too long, risking ball security. Those daring throws into tight coverage might not always succeed against NFL corners, but with his full skill set, Dart has the tools to thrive in the NFL. Yeah, First off, Jaxson Dart is not going to be there at pick 65. If he does,
I got it.
If he does, I feel like there's going to be an issue somewhere. Like I don't know. Did he pull like a Laramie Tunsil and get caught with a gas mask full of marijuana the day before the draft, or Laurel Collins and get questioned about a murder Like something big happened if he's dropping in the third round. I'm sorry. I don't think, again, we talked about the quarterbacks earlier in the show, how Ward and Shedeur Sanders are going to be top 5, top 10 guys, even though they have the talent of a mid-first round pick. Well, Jaxson Dart is probably a second, third. He's a day 2 style quarterback. I think Dart will probably get towards the end of the first round, personally. And I think it's going to be because, again, a quarterback needy team and not a lot of quarterbacks. Now you tell me Jalen Milroe falls to the round. Okay, that's possible. You tell me you want to go ahead and take a risk on him in the third round. Okay, I'm game for that. Third round, not first or second. But I also don't plan on him, that's for sure, because I don't think he's that good. Sometimes you got to take a risk. That's life. So
sometimes you got to go for a backup.
Exactly.
But we need a first string.
But that's a fairy tale. Jaxson Dart at 65, absolute fairy tale.
Yeah.
PFN that actually had a trade. The Giants had traded pick 104 to the Steelers in exchange for 122, 163, and 238. So we dropped down 18 spots, half a round. And in the end, we end up getting 2 additional picks out of it. I would take that. We got a lot. Like I said, we got a holes to fill. I would take that kind of offer. With the 122nd draft pick there, round 4, Giants took Elijah Roberts, defensive tackle at SMU. This is from 33rd team. Elijah Roberts is a dense, powerful defender with the requisite length to play as a point of attack defender at the NFL level. He boasts some surprisingly versatility with the usage at SMU, being charged with rushing from a 3 tackle to standing up, 3 technique to standing up, and rushing from 2-point stances off the edge. He'll be best served as a base end to play over tackles and help generate knockback to set the edge. Roberts is a powerful player with good linear force. His hands are active and stiff. This isn't necessarily a featured pass rush talent, but he has shown a spatial feel for creases, and SMU successfully turned him loose on stunts and as a crash defender to attack gaps. So yeah, not a bad player to get in the 4th round, I say. And this is a huge spot for the not just the Giants, but for the NFL as a whole right now, because a lot of teams are looking at defensive line help, and this is the year to get it. And I'm not saying the first round. There's going to be some guys in the first round to go, but 3rd, 4th round, those days, there's going to be some defensive tackles swarming off the board like you don't usually see, because there's a lot of guys that fall in that category. And when you get a lot of people that fall in that category, typically what's going to happen is people are going to go, oh, I got 3 or 4 guys I would take. Next pick. And then eventually someone takes one.
And then you go on a run.
And then you go in the run because everybody gets paranoid. They're not going to get the one they wanted. So that'll happen. Watch it happen this year. And we're on the show and it happens. And I'm like, I was right. Well, this is day 3, because I said if it's round 4, we're not going to be on day 3. Anyway, Next one they got is a projected compensatory pick in the 4th round. So that's a pick 134. They got us taking Pat Bryant, wide receiver to Illinois. Bleacher Reports his overall Pat Bryant projects a well-rounded perimeter wide receiver. He is effective inside as a power slot in multiple wide receiver sets. His plus level run blocking and effort will put him in coach's good gracing. Bryant can be an adequate wide receiver 3 in an NFL offense. Keyword, Ken.
Could be.
Ken. I think, and again, he's a guy we're picking with the 4th round here. If he's a 4th or 5th even, he's just a legitimate NFL receiver that provides you something. That's a win. But we say all the time when it comes to day 3 picks, there's guys who are very, very talented, maybe not football IQ, and there's guys that are football IQ, maybe not the most athletically gifted. He definitely falls in that latter category. Doesn't have what you would consider true NFL speed, that's for sure. So the question is going to be, can he make up for that at the next level with his route running? It's a possibility. Let's say hypothetically the Giants do, I hate to portray this rumor anymore. Let's say the Giants do happen to get Cooper Kupp. This Matt Stafford stuff actually does come out to be true. Well, Cooper Kupp is one hell of a route runner. Be a really good guy to have to teach some of these kids. I've been saying forever, since this whole thing happened, Wan'Dale Robinson would benefit the most, probably anybody in this roster. But there's another guy, Pat Bryant, if we got him. So round 5, pick 155. Teddy Buchanan, linebacker out of Cal. Draft Network says Teddy Buchanan operates with a high-level motor and a hunger for the football that consistently sees him arrive as the first man to contact. Transferred to California from UC Davis, where Buchanan evolved into one of the Big Sky Conference's premier defenders. And that's one of those it is what it is kind of scenarios, guys. Listen, it's hard to get psyched up for a day 3 linebacker. Let's be honest, he would start off at special teams until we get injured. Then he'd be starting because that's the way we go. But like I said, he's a guy that I don't think you'd expect anything crazy out of. You just see how he develops, but you start him off as a special teamer. Ain't nothing wrong with that. So
pretty much.
Another round 5 pick, 163, Carson Vincent, offensive tackle out of Alabama A&M. This is from 3013. Vincent boasts desirable balance and center of gravity when playing unattached to defenders and will inspire confidence in his ability to mirror once he gets some of his footwork lapses cleaned up. With nearly an 84-inch wingspan, Vincent's strike zone and area of influence as a blocker are massive. And there's a lot of people that I know talked about him as one of those kind of developmental guys, that if you have a way to stash him on the line, give him a year or two to develop without playing him. Like, don't put him out there because you need some time. He's from Alabama A&M, not Alabama.
Yeah.
But they're saying give him a chance and he might develop into something. You know what I say? You can say that about half the people in the damn draft.
It's usually why they're going to the draft, because you think there could be something.
So, yeah, I'm not going to be too high on him. But again, need tackles, need big bodies. Our offensive line depth is an issue. So if you think you got somebody who can be a good depth piece, then go for it. Round 7, pick 221. Isis Waxter, cornerback out of Villanova. This is the College Sports Network on MSN said Waxter has the ability to play at the next level, but he would need to develop and improve. Reports that he helped himself out with a good showing in the week leading up to the Shrine Bowl. His stats don't jump off the page at you, but he did well defending passes in 2023, and as a result, saw less targets in 2024. Again, you want to bring a secondary guy as he develops? There's not much we can say. I'll take it. No complaints. Round 7, pick 238. Damian Martinez, running back out of Miami. Of Florida, not Ohio. Bleacher reports that overall Damian Martinez is an adequate starting running back for gap scheme teams. He's best suited for attacking the line of scrimmage downhill, where his patience and vision can lead to success. He can be the lead running back of a power rushing attack, which would be pretty crazy to get a guy who has the potential to be a lead running back in a 7th round pick. I think that I'm going to say as BS with a capital B and a capital S. But I will say this. He's a bigger guy. He goes downhill. This is exactly what I've been looking for every single mock draft we do, to go ahead and pair up with Tyrone Tracy, who is obviously, again, a converted wide receiver, a little smaller side. I want a big running back. I think it'd help him. It helped Tracy. Imagine you're getting beat, and there comes a speedy guy. Or you get the speedy guy and you're tired of running him down, and all of a sudden this big guy comes and just bulldozes you.
Yeah, pretty much. You're used to hitting the guy that's, 30, 40 pounds less.
Yeah.
Unless they try to hit this guy that's, outweighing you. And
we need a little thunder and lightning. We got just lightning right now. We need some thunder.
Yeah. So thunder, a little lightning. Yeah.
So last pick they had, round 7, 248. Gerard Christian Lichtenham. Probably mispronouncing his name a little bit. Lichtenham. I can't say his name right. You know who he is. The tackle for Oregon State. Let's be honest, you don't know who he is. He's a 7th round pick. SB Nation's Turf Showtime says possible developmental player for right tackle, massive size with 36-inch arms and 10-inch hands. Stand out at the Shrine Bowl and earn good football focus grades at both Oregon State and Colorado. Moves well for being so tall. I have a draftable grade in this prospect and will have a deeper look in the future. Now, Turf Showtime, by the way, that we're quoting there is the SB Nation's Rams coverage. It's their version of the Big Blue View. So they're looking at him as a potential guy you can get late in the draft or as a possible even undrafted rookie free agent. So yeah, I mean, he being drafted in that line, I can't complain. I mean, overall, there's not much I can complain in this draft overall, except for the fact that there's no way in hell Jaxson Dart will be there in the 3rd round, and taking a tight end in the 2nd round is just ridiculous.
Yes, a lot of hopes and dreams there.
There's a lot of hopes and dreams there. Travis Hunter, very well possible at pick 3. I won't complain about that one, though I want a quarterback. But in their scenario, they didn't say it otherwise, but they said at one point have missed out the top 2 quarterbacks. So I have to assume in their mock, we did not get a chance to get Ward or Sanders, which is very possible. We are pick 3.
Yeah.
No guarantee we get one of those 2. So, all righty, let's talk more about quarterbacks. Let's talk more after we pay the bills. It's time to pay the bills. It's time to pay the bills. Let's pay the bills. Pay the bills. And guess what? It's time to pay the bills.
Enjoying the show? Looking for more goofball action? Consider a membership at buymeacoffee.com/2giantgoofballs. Memberships start at just $5 and give you additional goofball access. One-time support payments also available starting at just $3. buymeacoffee.com/2giantgoofballs.
All righty, guys. And of course, as always, you can go ahead and help out the show there by supporting the show with a super chat on YouTube, setting stars on Facebook, just throwing money at the screen and hoping it gets to us somehow magically. I don't know. The biggest thing, really, though, is that if you listen, if you want to help us out even the free way, we will take it gladly. Go ahead, hit that like, hit that subscribe, hit that share button. If you're on YouTube, there's that little plus thumbs up sign. Hit that one. You'll see a thumbs down sign next to it. Ignore that one. It's broken. Don't use it. Don't even try it. It's not good. So, all righty. Let's get back to the rest of the news here. And then at the end, we will go over all your comments as well. So if you have any more thoughts on things we're talking about, guys, keep on pumping them in there. Let's talk about quarterback situations here because Boomer Esiason, who sometimes yells like a boomer, and I swear he's telling people on WFAN to get off his lawn.
Get off my lawn.
He's that guy. I'm telling you, I swear he is.
Damn,
he went ahead. He was talking about Matt Stafford on the WFAN radio station there. He said, it's great, and I know the guys want to win, and he's a great player, but he's a 37-year-old quarterback looking for a contract extension. Does it really make sense? He's a really good player, but you're going down the road of a 37-year-old quarterback, paying him north of $40 million a year, which is what it's going to take. To me, as much as I understand why the Giants will consider it, if they are indeed considering it, you're talking about older players and paying them a lot of money. I feel like there comes a point in every analyst that's a former player's life that they forget about things that happened in their life. Like, for example, when the Arizona Cardinals took a chance on a 35-year-old Boomer Esiason back in 1996.
Yeah.
Just saying, like, they had him start 8 games that year. I don't think any of us are thinking that Matt Stafford is going to be the quarterback for the Giants for the next 10 years, right? Like, we're not crazy. But if you're going to pay a guy for a couple of years and get the chance to get out of it after that, if need be, I don't see the issue with this, especially depending on what you want to do a quarterback. Like, you want to pay him to play for 2 or 3 years and not have to rush the quarterback decision, not have to go ahead and just draft somebody for the sake of drafting somebody. Like, what if Joe Shane goes to the draft and that's at the combine and looks at these guys and gets a chance to talk to these guys and says, maybe I don't want to anymore after all. And don't get me wrong, that part probably won't happen because we all know they all got a man crush on Shedeur Sanders. But again, we're picking 3. You never know what's going to happen. But they need a plan, and they can't wait until after the draft to enact the plan because you know what's going to happen? There'll be no quarterbacks available. We'll end up with Tommy DeVito all over again. Year 3 of Tommy DeVito. Not good.
You forgot to put the sauce in the pot.
What this means now. Not good.
Yeah.
So, like I said, we'll see what happens overall here. But I don't think it's as crazy suggestion as Boomer's trying to make it seem out to be. Like, I just think if you're doing it, you got to recognize that you may be paying somebody for a couple of years. And you may not want him as your starting quarterback for a couple of years, depending on what you do in the draft. it seems to have worked out for the Falcons so far. You think they're unhappy right now? Oh no, we have to figure out how to get rid of Kirk Cousins because we liked Michael Penix so much.
Yeah.
Problems I would love to have. Meanwhile, the Rams want to get rid of Matt Stafford because his wife has a podcast and she talks too much. I wish we had those problems at quarterback. How great would that be? What problems do you have at quarterback? Well, the wife talks too much.
Yo, could you tell you what to keep it down?
Yeah, I first off, it's a bad look for the Rams. Why do you want to get rid of quarterback? His wife won't stop talking.
Yeah.
Like, really?
You might as well be like, she's in the kitchen screaming too loud.
Yeah.
Tell her to get back in there, keep her mouth shut.
Was it a bad season? Well, it started off bad. Then we almost beat the Super Bowl winners in the playoffs.
Yeah. Really close. Came down to one of the last plays.
And you're getting rid of the quarterback? Yeah. His wife won't stop talking. Like, what the hell?
Making us look bad.
Oh, absolutely ridiculous. Like, I feel bad for Stafford. I really do. Like, the situation he's in is not a good one any longer for him. I can't sit there and say the Giants are a better situation.
Keep his mouth quiet.
What was that?
Are you saying why for Stafford because his wife will keep his mouth quiet?
No. Like, listen.
Think he does that? She does that at home too.
She can say and do whatever she wants. Point blank. That is her prerogative of a human being in this world. We are all allowed to speak our mind. She also is, by the way, not a employee of the LA Rams, and therefore can do whatever the hell she wants.
Nor the NFL. She can say whatever she wants. You can't pay her to keep her mouth quiet. You can actually.
Well, you could. If she did a podcast for the Rams, she'd have to be.
Well, I mean, the Rams could say,
found the solution, Rams. Get around the salary cap. Pay her a lot of money to do a podcast about the Rams.
There you go.
First line of the contract: you cannot say the words Cooper or Cup. Insanity. Let's talk some more about the quarterbacks here because there's a rumor. Breaking news: the Giants are scouring for a quarterback in 2025.
Wait, what?
I can't
Seriously?
believe this had to be even said. ESPN's Jordan Ron on an X said, "It's no secret the Giants are scouring the landscape for their future franchise quarterback." One NFL executive said General Manager Joe Shane made it obvious at the Senior Bowl that was his focus. Wow.
It's like that Expedia commercial.
Stop the
Hello,
presses.
Captain Obvious.
Stop the presses here. Oh my God. I cannot. I can't believe it here. Hold on. Breaking news. Oh my God, it's crazy. But who would have thought when John Mara said earlier this offseason, that's obvious the number one issue for us going into this offseason is to find our quarterback of the future, whether that be via the draft or acquiring a veteran. It's going to be up to Joe Shane and Brian Dable to decide ultimately. Who would have thought that would be their first thing to think about doing in the offseason?
Yeah.
Or maybe
midway through the season last year, you would think that was their number one priority, to get a quarterback since they got rid of their starting quarterback.
Or maybe we should have looked at when Joe Shane earlier in the offseason said it's the most important position of football. So that's definitely important to any team in the NFL success. So that's something we'll definitely be looking at. Who would have thought they'd be looking for a quarterback? Wow. Whew. I hope they didn't do the front page of the paper yet. Oh my.
My God.
Take the jersey, can't take the guy out of jersey, you can't take the jersey out of the guy. The sarcasm is real all the way down here in Florida. All right. Oh, I won't even. There's a song that popped in my head. I won't even do it. No Gloria Stefan. Anyway, let's talk about something non-quarterback related here. As we talked about when Jerome Henderson got fired, asking about everything that happened with Deontay Banks, and obviously hit the offseason. It's a horrible season he had, and there being rumors that was part of the issue. So we may have finally got our answer. Did Banks get Henderson fired? And this comes from Paul Schwartz of the New York Daily News. He said, there was no personality conflict whatsoever that caused the firing of defensive backs Jerome Henderson. This was similar to the dismissal of offensive line coach Bobby Johnson after the 2023 season. It is an attempt to bring in a different voice to a position group. Johnson was close with Dable, but was not able to develop young players Evan Neal and Josh Azudu. Hold on. Merlin the Wizard couldn't go ahead and develop those two players. I'm just throwing that out there. Like, oh my God. Like, ridiculous. Anyway, likewise, Henderson did not reach Deontay Banks as the 2023 first-round pick regressed in the second season. Newly hired Marquand Manuel figures to be more of an emotional, in-your-face presence around Banks. Do not let anyone tell you that Coach Killer is not a real thing. So, like, he's all into, like, nope, it wasn't Deontay Banks at the end. Don't tell anyone that Coach Killer is not a real. So, you still didn't answer the damn question.
Yeah.
It's like, no, that's not it. Definitely not it. Oh, yeah. And by the way, that might have been it.
Could have been. We're going to say it's not because it's a fresh new phase, but
make up your mind.
Maybe.
Oh, my gosh. Anyway, I don't think there's a chance in hell that one player's development made that difference. I think they just wanted to change the pace, and I think there was definitely some issues he had with the defense and with the coaching staff in general. Probably after being looked over for a promotion because he, quite frankly, deserved to be in the running for it. And he was supposedly the number 2 choice. But let's be honest, the number 1 choice was really like the number 7 choice, probably. Nobody wanted to play for Dable after what happened last year. So,
yeah.
So let's see here. By the way, more breaking news. Newmar says I heard they like breaking news. We got more breaking news. So
I haven't heard that one. That's a good one.
We should talk about that in the show at some point.
Yeah.
People are gonna smack this one day. It's gonna happen. Anyway. Next up is Gano in for the inevitable cutting of his roster spot there because things are not looking good for him, guys, this offseason, as we haven't heard any talks about any kind of restructuring, extension, lowering of the bill. Let's be honest, that probably the last one is the most important thing because he's got to rework that contract or he can be gone. And this is, we talked about it before. Like, it's something the Giants are going to have to do. They're not going to like when they have to do it. Let's be very frank on that. The Giants are not going to like in any way, shape, or form when they have to make this move because he's a guy that, to be frank, at points you would sit there and say he was the best player on the team. That's how bad the team was, and that's how good he played. It's a combination of both.
Yeah.
This comes via The Athletic. They said the Giants don't have any albatross contracts to shed this offseason, and they're in a healthy enough cap situation that they don't need to make any cap cuts. Still, a $5.7 million cap hit is excessive for the 37-year-old Gano, who has missed 16 games due to injuries the past 2 seasons. The Giants can create $3.2 million in cap savings while eating $2.5 in dead cap by dumping Gano. That's not an overwhelming financial impetus. I don't know what the IMPETS. Big words. I didn't go to college. God damn it!
Yeah.
In the Giants' position can allocate that money better. I feel like there's something people tend to forget in these topics sometimes. And I'm not saying that Gano will not get cut. Let me be very frank that we have said on the show we think that Graham Gano will get cut. And it's going to be more for 2 or 3 reasons that they gave. They didn't even list those 2 as reasons. 37 years old, missed 16 games the past 2 seasons. That's half the games he hasn't been available for. I don't think the money has much of it to do with it, really. So think about this. $5.7 million cap hit, okay? We got the math here. $3.2 million is what you're going to pay him. I'm sorry, what you're going to save. I'm sorry about cutting him. You got to get a kicker to replace him, right? How much is that kicker going to cost?
$3 million.
You see where the math...
Maybe less.
Listen, I may not be a mathematologist. Just saying, I may not be the mathematologist here.
Yes.
And I may have not gone to college. It's a word I had trouble with in Scrabble. But, I'm just saying, the math is not mathing up here.
It's crazy.
You want to get rid of
you want to talk about math, right? Like you said, 37 years old. There's one of the best players on the NFL roster in the past 5 years.
Until the last 2 seasons.
like 37 years old. $5 million. Could save $3.2 million. Could get another kicker for $2 million. That's pretty good. It's going to be there for all the games because reliability is a big thing, especially when you have to pick up players off the field. And then you pick them up for $2 million, you save $1 million, and then you have to go pick up other kickers randomly through the year and pay the money for that. So
yeah. I just think when they're talking about the cap hit and the savings, they need to kind of, explain that you still have to sign somebody. You just like, ooh, I got $3 million. No, you didn't get $3 million. You got $3 million and a hole in your roster. That's going to cost you a couple $1 million to fill.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, when you're not healthy, like, how many kickers did we have to pick up last year?
17.
So 17 at league minimum.
It just felt like that. It just felt like that. That's for sure. I mean,
no, it was a 4 that we picked up.
How many the year before? We had multiple kickers getting hurt the same week. That's how bad it was the year before. I mean, we got freaking Mason Crosby coming off the end of the line there of his career because nobody wanted him for a whole season. He just came out of the grocery store and just started kicking for us.
Pretty much. For some reason, he was in Jersey, and Dable was at the Acme and saw him kick a can, and he goes, "Hey, you need a job?"
Hey, yo, I saw you kick that tomato can.
Yeah.
I don't know why I think people would have that kind of voice.
There's a can sale here, and I saw you go right down aisle 7.
Does ShopRite still do the can?
They do, but that's not like $12 or $14 anymore.
Listen, the problem is I've been in Florida now for 9 years. Literally, this was today actually the 9th anniversary of me moving to Florida. So I don't know anymore what goes on in advertising with grocery stores anymore. But
I'll start sending you the advertisement deals.
Please do. Yeah. Please do. Do they still do the couponing?
Oh, there's definitely coupons. Yeah.
Couple of coupons. They don't do coupons here. Publix does BOGOs and offers you overpriced subs that are absolutely delicious. Anyway, let's talk about some good news here. Because afterwards, we got a little bit of frustrating news to go over. Brandon Brown officially will be back for the 2025 season, barring any kind of craziness here. So the Jaguars announced their next round of interviews for their GM position, and Giants assistant GM Brandon Brown has reportedly not made the cut. The team announced, like I said, 5 candidates they're going to be talking to get that second interview. And so, like I said, barring anything crazy, he should be there. And I'm very, very happy to hear this because there are people around the NFL that are extremely high on Brandon Brown. There are people around this podcast that are very low on Joe Shane. Yeah. Just say the two things could mash up here. These two things could come together. One of these things is like the other. Just saying.
Together right now.
Now, if we hire him to be our GM, do we still get the compensatory picks?
That'd be nice.
Just saying, like, we should get that. Technically, we did a minority hire. Saying we did. But, I think the big thing is we had to listen. As much as we joke around, as much as we give crap to, a lot of the people involved in the, the Giants, because be honest, things have not always gone the best. This draft class was really, really good. And we already lost one executive to the Patriots because we just let him go because he's friends with Rabel. Joe Shane needs to keep the continuity of whatever they did last year. And I don't know if you believe in lucky underwear and all that kind of stuff, but he better be wearing them if that's what he was wearing that night. Like, seriously, because, again, guys, look at this draft class.
He had 3.5 peanut butter jelly sandwiches shoved out his underwear. So
listen, go for it. If that's what it takes, I don't care. Okay, I don't care. I will not be helping him clean up. I'm just saying, but like, if that's what it takes, I don't care because that was an amazing draft class. And if you get a couple more of those, eventually this team's going to win. It may take 20 years, but eventually this team will win. Alrighty, guys. One last bit of news here, and then we will definitely get to your comments here. And this is extremely, extremely frustrating as a fan myself. Like, listen, Rob and I, we get the title of content creators, podcasters. But guess we are really in the end. We're fans. We don't front. We're not former NFL players. We're not credentialed media members. We're just
We're
fans.
just two goofballs that like football.
We're
and
just
the
fans that are
Giants.
obsessed with the Giants. That's what it boils down to. And we all know the story last year of the planes with the banners going overhead, and we were calling for people to do like crazy. We wanted a squadron of banners around the stadium.
With
like,
the Red Baron.
Like if they were geese, we want them to be called a gaggle. Like we were all about having all of these planes with the banners. And it's because we know that this stuff bothers John Mara. And clearly losing doesn't. I joke. He actually does care about the winning and losing is a sad part. He really does, but not enough to change his ways. But that's the whole problem. And these banners were meant to embarrass him into huge, drastic, dramatic change within the franchise. And there is not enough medium cokes in the world, guys, to make up for what happened last year. No. I'm sorry. There's not. We were an embarrassment. We were an embarrassment because this team purposely ignored holes in the roster. Purposely. We only have one starting quarterback. I said one starting cornerback, and he's never been a CB1. He's always been a CB2, except for a couple games during injury where he got smoked. What do? Ignore the corner position. And then very, very late in the offseason, let's go sign Adoree Jaxson back because he's there. We have a quarterback in Daniel Jones who's always injured. It looked like crap the year before. What do? Do we get him legit competition? Somebody actually could beat him out in the training camp?
Sure we
do. Let's get Drew Lock. He's a safe pick.
He's a lock.
It's like, you ever like see those skits in like a 90s sitcom? I'm going to say 90s. It could be 80s. It could be 70s. They would do this as well. But like where like the girl is dating the guy that her parents are going to hate. So she brings by somebody else as the fake boyfriend. Like that's Drew Lock. You're not going to hate him. He's a nice guy. He's got some NFL resume. But yes. But in reality, it was Daniel Jones with the tattoo and the leather jacket that was beating the crap out of our franchise for the last couple of years. Like, that's where we're at. John Mara just doesn't seem to comprehend the frustration of Giants fans. This is what Paul Schwartz of New York Daily News said. He said, it was not money well spent. Mara was completely unmoved by the aerial displays and was not at all intimidated by the messaging. If anything, it made him more determined not to bow to mob mentality pressure to get rid of general manager Joe Shane and head coach Brian Daboll. You know what I see when I say that? I don't give a shit about the fans.
Or I feel like it's kind of BS because it's you want to look strong even though you're pissed. People fit.
Hold on. Look at his pictures. He looks strong.
He looks pissed.
He does. He
looks miserable. He looks defeated. He looks like he's upset by planes flying with banners behind him, talking about how crappy his team is.
No. I want you to picture this blue jacket he has on with a badge instead of NY, and your parking meter just ran out of time.
Oh, you're definitely getting a ticket.
But it's just like, at what point, like he wants to portray this whole I care about winning, and he does. Like I said, guys, listen, I don't doubt for a second that John Mara is actually legitimately a guy who wants his team to win. He wants to be proud of having this team. It's got a lot of pride for him and his family. His father ran it. His grandfather started it. Like there's a lot of pride there. But when it boils down to it, when you say that kind of stuff, if that is truly what happened, this is Paul Schwartz. This is not John Mara quote. I don't want to make it seem like this is definite 100%, but this is being reported by a legitimate Giants source. When you say something like that, they want me to fire him, and I'm not going to succumb to their mob mentality, and I'm more determined than ever not to give in to their demands. You're not negotiating with terrorists. You're negotiating with the people that pay your freaking bills. Like, don't make us seem like we're ISIS over here.
Yeah.
Like we're trying to just tell you to stop the bull. Because as much as John Mara wants to win, wants to win more? Us. The fans. People have been suffering for 10 years, not profiting off this loss.
Well, that's it. As a fanatic, as a fan, you're always losing money. You're spending it, giving Mara his profit, his paycheck, his house, his second house, his leg seat, and his family. Like that's what we're paying for.
Yep.
And Giants futures and
listen,
seats and medium cokes, but whatever.
All this stuff behind me, that was not free. That all cost money. John Mara got my money. And what did he do with it? He gave it to Dable and Shane. And if he doesn't understand why that pisses me off and pisses a lot of us off, then he's not ignoring the mob mentality. He's ignoring the people they should be listening to the most. The people that are diehard fans, the people that have supported this team through thick and thin. And like I said, it just sounds really tone deaf. It really sounds tone deaf. Yeah. And I'm hoping this is not true. But listen, Paul Schwartz is not going to put it out there if it's not true.
Once again, maybe I'm reading too hard between the lines. I think when you come out and say a statement like that, it's more of like, obviously he's going to listen to the fans. Like he's listened to the fans before. He's come out publicly saying that he's trying not to fire coaches right away and staff.
Mm-hmm. It's not right away when you're going to the fourth year.
It's not. He talks about giving these guys a longer shot, and I think it's more of he's embarrassed, and now he's just kind of, he's embarrassed that this stuff's waving, that it's happening in his stadium. It's flying over his stadium during the games where he's supposed to be making these money, and people aren't paying for tickets, and he's selling them at the cheapest that they've been at.
But that's the bad part. They're selling the tickets. The fans are reselling them for nothing. He's still got his money, and that's part of the problem. And I really do wish that, and this is not just the NFL. This is a sports problem as a whole, because I'm going to use the Tampa Bay Rays as an example here for a second, because of the fact that I live in the Tampa Bay area. I live like literally 15, 20 minutes from the Tropicana Stadium, what's left of it at least. When you go into a team like that, for example, the owner is their problem. He refuses to spend money, and that's why that team never wins a championship. This case, Mara is a problem because he refuses to kick his family out of the front office and put real people in power. Call it like it is. He's keeping his war soldiers and his friends and family all in positions of power that don't deserve to keep it. So what I think should happen is the NFL, and every sports franchise for that matter, should incentivize winning. Whatever profits are shared, because we don't know necessarily the business aspects of this, there is a certain percentage of profits that are shared amongst all the owners. Things like TV contracts and that kind of stuff that's just set. And they divide it equally amongst the 32 teams. You want to get an owner to care about winning? Start dividing it based on wins. You'll see owners start caring real quick. When it starts affecting their pocket, that's when they'll start caring. And it's a shame that a suggestion like that even has to be made. And again, John Mara wants to win. I really don't doubt that whatsoever. I don't think he seems to want to win enough for him to actually do something about it, though. Wanting to win and doing things to win are two different things entirely.
Yes.
It's like sitting there and saying, I want to lose weight, and then never going to the gym and eating all the fatty foods you want.
I was literally about to say, it's like, I want to lose 40 pounds, but I had Burger 25 twice this week and slugged a whole bunch of beers.
I wasn't going to bring it up, Rob, but now that you mentioned it.
There's a difference.
I just said it's just frustrating and annoying. So, all right, let's get to your guys' comments here before we head on out for the night there. So, start off with Uno Sakura. We're going to say Uno. Reminds you of the game. Salute you, Rob. Two Giant Goofball show is coming up strong. Appreciate it there. Money Mike, I like Cam over Drake May and McCarthy. McCarthy was a game manager in a run-heavy offense. I don't disagree with you. I think the biggest issue with Cam is I think he has a little bit of boom or bust in him. And there's nothing wrong with taking boom or bust in a quarterback sometimes when you understand that going into it and you have a backup plan, because you know what? It's not always bust. Sometimes it's the boom. You got to take the chances. You got to gamble to win a gambling. Money Mike says that both quarterbacks are gone. Who you like more, Travis or Abdul? To be honest, neither one. I'm a Will Johnson guy. Rob, who you got?
Well, he said, who do you like more, Travis or Abdul?
I know. I'm giving option C. Listen, if you're gonna make me pick then I'll take Travis just because I want a corner.
And
I don't trust Penn State edge rushers either too much.
Yeah.
By the way, Micah Parsons, remember a linebacker, not an edge rusher, because I know someone's going to say it. I'm waiting for the comment.
Yeah. I'll probably go with Travis in this one, but just because positional needs for the Giants.
That's a tiebreaker sometimes. It really is.
But Abdul has definitely been a big talk since for the past week.
He has, and he's looked better than a lot of the pass rushers coming out of Penn State lately, and a lot of them put up no stats whatsoever, and people still like him. So, solving the range problem. The unfortunate reality is that any young quarterback that comes to NYG is doomed to fail. Terrible team for a rookie to try and succeed with. Well, let's okay. When you're done solving the race problem, why don't you solve the negativity problem there? Okay. No, in all fairness, like I said, I've said it before. I'll say it again. I don't think this team is that far from success with the right quarterback as people think it is. You got in there a guy that literally was in the room as Mahomes was developing. I'm not going to say what percentage I give him the credit for in Mike Kafka. You got a guy who's in the room for Josh Allen succeeding. And we've said it before. We don't give Brian Dable the credit for Josh Allen. We give Josh Allen the credit for Josh Allen. But Dable still saw what Josh Allen did. There's still a value in that, even if it's not the value of being a quarterback guru people thought he was when we first got him. That being said, Malik Neighbors, stud wide receiver. Offensive line was playing better. Tyrone Tracy was a solid rookie running back. There's more pieces here than people think. The problem is that we had Rad Tad from the Little Giants trying to play quarterback all season long. Like, you need a quarterback. And then you can get a true assessment of how far we are. Because don't forget, Drew Lock threw for 5 touchdowns with this same Giants team. And Drew Lock, no offense, Drew Lock sucks. How could that be no offense? Oh, well. He's just not good. He could be a nice guy. I don't know. He's just not a good quarterback. Uno says, when comparing stats, Cam Ward and Jaxson Dart both had better numbers, respectively, than Jaden Daniels. You got to throw the numbers thing out the window when you're analyzing college quarterbacks, honestly. And I say that knowing full well that every time we talk about college quarterback, we give you the stats. But there's a lot of variables to what kind of offense was he in? What defenses did he play? What was the help he had around him? Like, for example, Jaden Daniels obviously had a pair of very good receivers. There's variables to it. The biggest thing is going to be the eye test. And the eye test tells me that Jaxson Dart is trouble with defenses. And Cam Ward is a guy who is a pure gunslinger, and that sometimes has a way of panning itself out. So,
yeah.
Andre says, "Yo, Drew, yo, Rob, how are you guys?
Andre,
how is the weather? Snowing here in Brazil? Look like Sahara. Ha ha ha! I did not even realize, dude, you were in Brazil. Wow, that's cool.
Yeah.
We're international. We're international.
Ooh.
So, Andre,
international.
Obrigado for watching. Oh yeah. Breaking up the Portuguese. See.
It's Brazilian Portuguese. It's not just Portuguese.
It's still Portuguese. It's like a dialect. It's like going from like American English to UK English.
No, it's a little different.
And you're saying the UK English is not a little different than American English?
Listen, I've talked to a lot of Brazilians. They'll tell you they don't speak Portuguese. Just saying.
Andre, let us know if you speak Portuguese or Brazilian Portuguese. It's like we don't sit there and say American English.
There's definitely people that say we speak American English.
Yeah, people that don't live in America. No one in America says, I speak American English.
No, I'm just telling you, I've met a lot of people from Brazil who say they speak Brazilian.
I've met a lot of people from Brazil as well myself, and they never corrected me once. You're the first person.
Ooh, yes.
Every time I go to Texas Day Brazil, they never complain, just saying. Which is just funny because why is the state of Texas involved in Texas Day Brazil?
Makes no sense.
Like you get a good first off, you ever been to a Texas Day Brazil?
No.
Okay, first off, anytime listen, you don't even have to go to it. You live close enough to Long Branch. There is a place in the Long Branch, and listen, I'm going to butcher the hell out of this name probably. And I'm assuming it's still there. Again, I've moved in 9 years since I moved out. I'm going to Google it real quick while we're talking to see. It's called Bazao. I think it's Pezao. It actually translated, I was told, in Brazilian Portuguese to Bigfoot. And it is, they have like 5 or 6 of them all throughout Long Branch. And they do like buffets where you pay by the pound and everything. And you get rodizio meat and stuff like that. And it's so much cheaper than the stuff that they have at these places. But oh my God, is it amazing. And I am so hungry.
Dude. One of the restaurants I just signed up in Longhorn, Pennsylvania. Well, at this point, 3 months ago, the Blonde Steakhouse. Shout out to Mr. Welton if he's listening. Probably not, but
probably not. Just in case.
It's a Brazilian Shedeur, and oh my God, I'm in the back of the kitchen as they're prepping all this meats and just getting this giant slice ready, and it's the cooking meats on the back. Oh, just watching
the cheese bread, the pão de queijo. Oh my God, it's so good.
Yeah.
And the orange soda, I'm gonna probably mispronounce it. Called I think Samul Laranja. No, it's this stuff they have. It's SUMOL, Samul, and it's like it has like pulp in the orange soda actually.
That is so bad.
It's
I should
really
think of Fizzy
good.
Pop from
or the watermelon soda. Oh my God, I'm so hungry right now. It's not that funny. Also, Brazilian lasagna is freaking amazing. They put like ham and then another layer of cheese on top. Oh my God, so I'm so hungry right now. I don't know why I ate, but I'm hungry. Anyway,
I didn't really eat so.
Let's get back into the comments here. Anthony says, no more first round tackles. Yes. Connor says, howdy ho, you two hoes. LOL. Well, that's just mean.
I said use a hoe.
I don't listen. I think one of them were a gardening utensil. One of them we are a woman of the night, Connor. So I think the second one is the woman of the night one you're probably meant. Money Mike says Eagles are one of a few teams who draft best player available over need. The Giants used to do it, man. We used to. Point blank. I remember plenty of drafts that I'm like, why did we get that player? As a kid, my dad would be next to me going, it's the best player available. So we do. We don't seem to do that anymore.
Yeah, because we
got too many holes.
Because we fell off the wagon, and now it's like, oh, we have a hole over here in defense. Let's fill that.
We didn't fall off the wagon. First off, we fell out the back of the wagon while I was going uphill and hit every rock around on the way. God damn it! It's just bad. It's just bad. Money Mike says, I don't think Dart makes it out of the first round. I'm with you 100%. Andre says, and the first time I didn't know what I want in draft, QB, Travis, Carter, Mason. I would not go Mason. It's a heavy DT draft. He's got to be like Hall of Fame quality kind of defensive tackle to make that pick worthwhile. So Uno says at Money Mike Facts and then a phone. I'm not sure what the phone emoji. I'm so old I don't even know what emoji stand for anymore or whatever. I don't know. It's a phone. I think he means correct probably because he had said that the Dart not making out of the first round. Connor says, let's just give Philly our picks to get their offensive line and Saquon. Then we get free agent quarterback. Then we'll be good to go. I don't think it quite works out that way. Then he says, every guy we get either wins Super Bowl or does better elsewhere. Even Shockey got another Super Bowl with Saints. Got hurt in season before we got Super Bowl 42. OBJ, Saquon, Tony, trouble with law. I heard now. Yeah. I mean, like I said, it's just this is what happens when you have trouble developing talent. Money Mike says, I only want Stafford if we can pay him the money for the 2 years left on his contract. I'm not giving him a new deal. We'll overpay him to kill our cap. I'm okay with doing an extension as long as the guaranteed money is not there. Like I keep in mind, if you trade for him, you don't get the whole contract. That guaranteed money stuff still stayed with the Rams. They had to pay that all up front now the rest of the way. So you got to rework that deal, give him like $10 million extra a year difference, still pay him like $45, $50 million a year to be your quarterback for a couple of years and then get rid of him. Sounds dramatic, but listen, if Daniel Jones was worth 40, Stafford's worth 50.
Especially in today's day and age.
Exactly. Exactly. So Neymar says, do you think Drew Lock hits free agency? I think it hits him. He hits it and it hits him back because I think people are gonna not be interested based on how bad he played this year, minus the one game. Debs, I think the Rams will end up keeping Stafford. I hope not. I think I'm getting more and more on the Stafford train because I'm tired of losing.
Yeah, it's a nice.
I don't think it's going to happen though. Still, but
Yeah.
I don't know. Am I thinking of my brain or my heart? My heart says yes. My brain says no.
Yeah.
Neymar says, I think Matt Stafford resigns with the Rams. Y'all give me bad news now. Anthony says, I'm still scared they reach for a quarterback and draft Milton at 3. That was last year. You're good. And he said, and he's also Boomer is a bum. He's got a home. Barbecue bacon burger. Okay, well, I guess we're getting prayers now. Okay. Neymar says, I heard they like Shore Sanders.
Yeah.
Anthony says, Gano's got to go. Craig says, bye-bye, Gano. Not healthy. Cheaper to keep him. You make up your mind.
Yeah, right.
Pie got to go. Cheaper to keep him.
You sound like a man that's debating if you should get a divorce or not.
Deb says, I think the 10% equity of the team will go to Eli and others, and I think they will make the move to help their image. I still think the money is about them making another business move, and I think they want to go ahead and do something. I don't know what the money they want to do, but something. Let's see here. Craig says he probably held on to Daniel Jones for too long, but what? And fired too many coaches too soon. Yeah, it's a weird thing there. J. John 300 with the super chat down, and I appreciate it, guys. Says,
thank you,
bros. We are closer. We just need a QB. Great show. Appreciate it, man. And like I said, we're with you. I honestly, as much as we're down and we get negative about the Giants, and it's not difficult. Let's be very frank. It is not difficult at all to be negative about the Giants.
Yeah,
that's the truth of the matter. I can't be too negative on overall if we got a quarterback. I think that's like the biggest thing overall. It's like when you're an NBA team and you got some solid players, but you don't have a star. Like, that's what I feel like the Giants are right now. Like, get that star quarterback. And I don't care how you got to do it. Rob, cheat, steal, whatever you got to do.
No, I'm Rob.
Oh, I know you are. I'm Drew. Anyway, but listen, I would be doubling up like you wouldn't believe. I'd get a free agent quarterback or a trade for one. Matt Stafford, like I said, fine. I would go ahead and get one in the draft. I'll go get another one in the draft if I have to. I'm getting quarterback after quarterback after quarterback for all the years we ignored the most important position in all of sports, let alone football. Point blank.
Yep.
So Craig says, this team was leading the league in sacks with a sorry secondary. Get a quarterback and let's roll. Commanders get a quarterback and they go to title contenders. They're coming back to earth real soon. First off, I got to say they did a lot more than just go get a quarterback. They got a new head coach. They got a new GM. They got a new ownership group. They got a new everything. They basically changed the entire thing.
Yeah, they changed all proper management. They changed,
That being said, Jaden Daniels was their biggest move. Let's be honest. Yeah. And they really lucked into that. So, like I said, I look at what they did, and it's impressive. They went from being the laughing stock of the league for how many years to being somebody now that, I'm not saying he's great by any stretch of the imagination, the Commanders right now, but they won a playoff game. They got to the NFC Championship game. I mean, that's impressive to go from a laughing stock to that. Hopefully we can do something like that. That's for sure. The Pocket, fellow Giants content creator here. All right, well, check it out, man. I gotta say, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not familiar with the program, but we will definitely check it out, man. I love all supporting Giants content creators. I love watching new shows from content creators and all. I think most of what I watch nowadays is either old movies on YouTube while I'm editing, or content creators that happen to go live when I'm editing. So
typically,
Hirsch for real says, "Evening, fellas, what's up?" And then the Pocket says, I was at Long Branch this weekend for a wedding. The food spots looked awesome. They are.
Oh,
absolutely
so
are.
They also got a really good Brazilian market in Eatontown, right around the corner from Long Branch, right across the street from 35, right behind the Quick Check.
Yes.
Minas Dali?
I don't
Someone
know.
name. I forget what
Minas does not sound like a Brazilian name.
Oh, it's a very sweet old lady that owns it. Well, it's like a family.
I know, but it's funny because Brazilian culture, like there's so many different nationalities that move there over the years too, as well. That it's like you hear a name and you wouldn't think it's Brazilian, but it just is.
No,
It's like it's almost like an American to that degree. Like it's this culture's getting put together like that.
it's hysterical. It was the first time I went there. The World Cup was going on. It was Brazil. I think was playing Germany. No, it was. I think Brazil was. It definitely was Germany. And there was the whole story was just like watching the TV, watching Brazil play in the World Cup, and I'm like getting there for like some fresh baked rolls. I'm like, right, guys.
You know what though? I gotta say, if you're in Long Branch and you really want to say you were in Long Branch, that means you have to stay up late, go to a bar, and then go to the Inkwell afterwards and get a Dutch coffee. You've not lived in a Long Branch area till you've gone to the Inkwell, drunk off your ass at 1 o'clock in the morning, and gone to get a Dutch coffee.
Although Pier Village changed, so Long Branch has changed a lot since you left. Pier Village is very nice these days.
No, I went to Pier Village, but it was nice. So I went there one time for a birthday party. It was okay. And listen, I don't want to say this person is in case they ever see them. I shouldn't even show the story probably, so I'm going to make them feel bad potentially. So like I was working at a car dealership and I was broke off my butt basically when at the time, and they invited me out to their birthday party they had with friends and family and people that we work with and everything, and it's very nice gesture. So I wanted to go and show my appreciation for that. And I get there and they were doing bottle service, like $150 for a bottle, and it was like Absolute.
Yeah.
And this was, again, I'm old, so this was when I was young, so this was like 20 years ago. You know what I mean? Like so yeah, it's been a while that they were expensive there.
Oh yeah, I'm saying it's come a long way in the past 10 years.
The Virginia Slims of one. Let's see. Andre says Brazilian Portuguese, ha ha ha. We're like Americans, has different English from UK. We use not formal language like our neighbors in North. So which one is it though? But I don't know if he's laughing because his Brazilian Portuguese is the one you're supposed to use, or if Brazilian Portuguese is fun. No, but I'm saying, like, would he get upset if somebody went up to him and said, "Oh, you speak Portuguese"?
They'll probably just, but most of the people most of the people won't correct you because that's the base root of the word.
I know. I'm just curious if it's considered offensive. I've been offending people for decades with no knowledge. Like, I don't go out to offend people. It just sometimes happens.
It's weird because it's like, obviously people in Mexico speak Spanish, but you don't call it Mexican Spanish. You just call it Spanish. But for whatever reason, whatever's in Central America right there, it's Brazilian Portuguese. Yeah. And it's very different. It's very different. I guess it's more of like going to like London or like Scotland, trying to listen to someone speak English over there, and then go to New Orleans. That's for someone that's been living there for 5 generations.
Okay, I got to put this up because I didn't even know this. Anthony just put it on. He said, unfortunately, the Inkwell is closed forever. Too many drunken coffee stops there. I didn't know the Inkwell closed. I used to love going to that place. I got to look this up and verify that because I'm hoping it's wrong. Destroyed.
Permanently closed.
Permanently closed, destroyed, apparently. Ooh. Wow. That's gonna make me sad tonight then. Seriously, that was like one of my favorite places to go. The Inkwell Coffee House. And there's a picture of it too. Closed for the foreseeable future. And that was open from like the 60s. Oh my gosh. I remember at one point I looked online and I saw, bless you by the way, I see you sneezing and on mute. I saw at one point they had a recipe for Dutch coffee online. I would definitely have to look that up, see if I can find that now. I can't believe that place closed. That's horrible. Anyway, let's get to happier news. Who's got some happy news for us? Craig says Evan Neal cross-trained at guard, Mekhi Becton 2.0. Only if he went to another team. Heard for real, it'll be the Shedeur, Ward, or Carter. I still say Travis Hunter, Will Johnson. One of those 5. If we stay at 3. And Andre says, and trying not to use the translate my writing is not good at all. If I wrote something wrong, so sorry, guys. Dude, you're good. First off, we mess up English, and that's our native language.
I was going to say, you type better English than I do.
Seriously. Yeah, so you're good. You're good. Don't you worry, man. Yeah. The pocket says, unless somehow Cam Ward falls to 3, I think our best bet is to acquire multiple quarterbacks at discounts so we can use our first-round pick and cap space to fill roster needs. It all depends on what you think of the guys. So, let's see here. Craig says, is Zach Wilson as a bridge QB. I'm good.
Yeah, hard pass.
Pocket Wilson.
Unlike Zach Wilson.
Pocket Wilson. I said the pocket. I would be down for Justin Fields. Yeah, we've said multiple times. We're good with that one. It is. Oh, there we go. Put that up again. Oh, I got to put it up again. The pocket says that is unfortunate. I was going to do it. Apparently, it closed down a while ago too. James says, "Why do you like Will Johnson over Travis and Hunter?" Here's my issue with Travis and Carter. I'm sorry. Here's my issue with Travis Hunter. I don't know where he's going to play. That to me is a concern. I also don't like people who are outliers. The NFL has a history of people who are, I don't want to say inliers, because I never heard that as a term before, but people that fit a specific, square peg in a square hole kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's not him. The guys who are the athletes that don't quite fit a position just typically don't succeed in the NFL. And that's my biggest concern with him. You throw in the fact that who was he guarding at Colorado? Because I hear a lot of him as a corner. Who was this great receiver you saw him line up against? Will Johnson was playing in Michigan. He was playing some of the best receivers in football. There's a big difference in the quality of people they played against. I trust Will Johnson. Travis, so like I said, Travis Hunter, I wouldn't go there. As far as Carter, we're not going to give up on Thibodeau yet. We just paid $30 million for another edge rusher. The position isn't there. You want him to replace Azeez Ojulari? You want Thibodeau to replace Azeez Ojulari?
Yes.
So, to me, that's the tiebreaker on those two for me. So, like I said, that's just where I'm at. Anthony says, sorry, Drew. He did burst my bubble. He says, James Williams is a better player. William Johnson is a better player. And then James says, that's true. The pocket says, do you think anyone would like to trade up to 3? Only somebody like the Raiders who were desperate for a quarterback if Shedeur Sanders was still there. But why would you want to trade down if a quarterback's there you like? And I think the Giants like him a lot. So I don't think that's going to happen. They would happily run to the podium, Dave Gettleman, Saquon Barkley style, to go get Shedeur Sanders. So, all righty, guys.
He's going to look like Winnie the Pooh right up.
Oh, bother. So, guys, we'll be back again for you guys on Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. As always, we are live on YouTube, Facebook, X/Twitter, Twitch, and, of course, Rob's favorite, my LinkedIn profile. Oh, yeah. And, of course, as always, we're available the next day on all the audio podcast platforms. That is, of course, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Pandora, Amazon, all the big ones there. So, listen, if you haven't already, do me a favor, hit that like, hit that subscribe, hit that share button, hit the thumbs up if you're on YouTube there. And if you're on audio, go to the video stuff and do it then. If you're on video, go to the audio stuff and do it there. Leave a review on Apple Podcasts. Like I said, all this stuff, guys, in all seriousness, we joke around, we mess around people all the time on here. So it's fun. We enjoy doing that, expert jerks. But that stuff really does help us. Seriously. That stuff is what motivates the different platforms to pump this out to other people there. And quite frankly, we suck at marketing. So if you all don't help us out, then we're pretty much up. You know a creek without a paddle there. So appreciate you guys' support. As Andre says, salute, boys. See you later. Oh, I'm going to mess that up, dude. Ate mais in Portuguese. Let's go, Big Blue. I'm going to stick to the one word that I know very well. Obrigado, which means thank you in Portuguese for those who aren't aware. I used to know more. I'm not very good.
I know that.
Miz says, yo, what's up, brother? Oh, you just got us to believe it, man. So again, guys, we'll see you guys Wednesday again, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. As always, appreciate you guys for watching as always. And as always, Giant fans, no matter how much we suck, go G-Man!
Go G-Man!
Go G-Man!
Thanks for listening to Two Giant Goofballs, a New York Giants podcast. We appreciate your support.
Thanks so much.
Please, I'm begging you. Please.